Good morning and welcome to Java with Joe and Katie. I'm Joe Jackson.
And I'm Katie Carrick.
Well, we have a jam-packed show after all the events of this weekend. With the new sports crazes and so much changing in the news, we can't wait to help you wake up with your cup of Joe.
Hello and good morning. We hope you had a great weekend and we can't wait to get started with you on this lovely Monday morning.
Yes, what a great morning it is. I don't know about you, Katie, but I had a great weekend.
I had a relaxing weekend, had a barbecue with some family. How was yours?
Well, I went to see my nephew's soccer game, and then I went for an egg hunt with the rest of the family.
Did he win his game?
Well, he's too young to keep score, but I think we'll start by teaching him that in order to score, you got to get it in the other team's net, not your own.
Well, he'll figure it out one day.
Well, yes, but now that our early birds have heard our weekend stories, I think it's time to move on to some more interesting sports stories with Nick Perez over in the Sports Corner. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Katie. Sorry to hear about the rough weekend in sports at your house, Joe, but good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sports Corner. This is the part of the show where we talk about the latest in sports news, both local and nationwide. Today we'll go over the recent Orlando City soccer game and also talk about the NFL offseason. So first, we have to talk about that disappointing match Orlando City had against Vancouver. It was Orlando City's third game, and it was only the second game played at the Citrus Bowl since they started this year. They kept the pressure on Vancouver the entire game, having several shots on goal. But a rally by Vancouver in the 96th minute, led by Octavio Rivero, left the score 1-0. The upcoming game will be played at Montreal next weekend. Over in the NFL, everyone is speculating as to who Tampa Bay will pick up as their #1 draft pick. Last season, their team was ranked as having the worst offensive line in the entire league. Several of their free agents, namely Anthony Collins, did not turn out to be as effective as they had hoped. And according to the NFL.com's Chris Wessling, they also have one of the highest paid punters in the NFL, standing at around $3.5 million annually. With so many weaknesses in Tampa's lineup, it is a complete toss-up as to who they will choose or what they will focus on first. Back to you, Joe and Katie, on the main set.
Thanks so much, Nick. It's a shame about Orlando's loss against Vancouver this weekend.
Yeah, it looks like an overall disappointing weekend for Orlando soccer fans.
Well, hopefully next weekend will be better, but right now we're headed for a commercial break. Stay tuned, though, because when we come back, we have some juicy gossip for you all with Natalie in the Gossip Corner.
Are you tired of trying to cook and failing miserably? Do you have no sense of taste and cook like a blind man with hooks for hands? Then we may just have the product for you, yakisoba noodles. These delicious noodles require little preparation. All you need is to add water, add the flavor, and enjoy. It doesn't get easier than that. New yakisoba home-style Japanese noodles. All the flavor, none the work.
Hello and welcome back.
We know all of you are waiting to hear some juicy gossip to share around the water cooler at work this morning, so let's head on over to Natalie with the details of this week's gossip that's sure to keep everyone talking.
Thanks, Joe and Katie. And hey there, fans. This is Natalie Cabezas coming to you with your up-to-date celebrity gossip stories. Up first, we're discussing a woman that will never really go out of style. Taylor Swift was recently ranked number 6 out of 50 on Fortune's annual list of the world's greatest leaders. With Apple's CEO and the Prime Minister of India appearing in front of her in the rank, some people are awed and confused at Taylor's spot on the list. But hey, at least she's using her power for good, right? Moving on to all the Fast and Furious fans out there, last week Vin Diesel appeared on Jimmy Kimmel, throwing out the possibility of a Fast and Furious 8 to be filmed in New York in the future. And if you still haven't seen the new Fast and Furious 7, check it out in theaters as it was just released last weekend. Finally, for those of you that haven't heard, Zayn Malik from the famous boy band One Direction has officially left the group. In an interview he did with the Sun newspaper last week in the UK, the pop star claims he has wanted out for a while and has never felt more in control of his life up to this point with the decision. Soon after, Zayn released his very own song with with producer Naughty Boy. One Direction's Louis Tomlinson replied to Naughty Boy's song link on Twitter, calling the producer inconsiderate and that he needed to grow up. I guess he just doesn't have that one thing or the best song ever, but who knows what we'll see for the new future of One Direction as they become a foursome group. Well, everyone, that's all the gossip I have for you today. If you want to see more breaking stories on your favorite celebrities, check out our webpage at javawithjoeandkatie.com/gossip. Back to you, Joe and Katie.
Thanks, Natalie. Wow, that One Direction news has to be driving teenage girls everywhere crazy.
Don't remind me. My 10-year-old niece won't come out of her room. She's been a total wreck.
I'm sure she'll be fine, and a new boy band will come along, and it'll all be okay.
I sure hope so. Anyways, we have to take a quick break, but stay tuned.
He was a great outdoorsman. He was also a great hunter. He used to actually hunt with some of the great actors from the 50s and 60s. Grandpa provided for his family in every way he could. My dad always told me how when they'd go get burgers, Grandpa always bring a burger home for the family dog. That always gets me. Grandpa was a lifelong smoker. He struggled with emphysema for years. June 1986, Grandpa killed himself. I never met my grandpa. Smoking hurts your family too. Protect your family. Quit smoking today. Visit thetruth.com.
Hello and welcome back. Well, just as we promised, we have a very special and heartwarming story for you that will just get your Monday morning to that next level.
Yes, our guest for today is someone very special that we want you to meet. She lives right here in the Orlando area, and her story is incredible.
She has one of the biggest hearts anyone who has ever worked with kids can have. She pays for food, clothing, and hygiene items out of her own pocket and expects nothing in return. Here is Kim Thompson, 7th grade teacher at Pinebrook Middle.
Good morning, Kim. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great representing Pinebrook Middle today.
So Kim, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you become a teacher?
Well, I grew up in the Orlando area, and both of my parents were very big on my siblings and I getting a proper education. We didn't have a lot growing up, but my parents both knew that if we had a proper education, then we would be able to go further than ever. But I love school and I love learning, and that love of learning just really stayed with me as I grew up. So I became a teacher to pass the learning on and pay it forward.
That's so sweet. Well, we heard that you do a lot of amazing things at the school. Can you tell us how you get the day started off for the 7th grade students?
Right. Well, yes, since we live in one of the poorer areas, a lot of the kids will come to school, and especially after the weekend, they haven't eaten. So a lot of the time, they aren't even wearing clean clothes either. So the school does do a lot, like provide that free breakfast for a lot of these kids, but you know, it's not enough. So I made sure to start bringing enough food and clean clothes for my students, so that they would be clean, they'd be focused, and you know, just ready to start the day and really want to learn. I make sure that their hair is brushed, that their teeth are cleaned, and so that's kind of how we spend the beginning of the class, you know, the first 30 minutes of the day or so. I feel as if educators are like first responders for these kids, and I think a lot of other people should be like that too.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. It's actually, it's my understanding that if you find out that a kid doesn't have clean clothes for the next day, you'll actually help them with their laundry out of your own pocket. Wow.
Well, yeah, you know, I know how hard it can be, you know, growing up when you're hungry, but especially if you feel dirty and you're not looking your best, it's not really a way to be.
Well, that's just wonderful. You truly are an inspiration. We want to hear a bit about the school. Tell everyone the name of it again.
Thank you. Yeah, it's Pinebrook Middle School, and we are located in downtown Orlando.
Go to our website. When you hear the budget for the school and what comes out of her pocket, you'll want to help. Well, we want to help too, and we want you to join in.
Knowing all that you do, we teamed up with Reach for the Stars Foundation, and we have a $5,000 check for you.
Check it out.
Oh my God. Thank you guys so much. This is amazing.
And because we know that you won't just spend the money on yourself, we wrote another check for $5,000 to Pine Brook Middle School.
Oh my God.
There it is.
Thank you guys so much. Oh my God. I don't even know what to say.
Well, you do so much for these kids. You needed something done for you.
Well, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for all of your help, really.
Well, you're very welcome. Well, that's all the time we have for today's edition of Java with Joe and Katie.
We hope your Monday is off to a good start and that you enjoyed waking up with us.
See y'all bright and early tomorrow morning.